fourth episode, dude, when he's on the racetrack and he just looks at himself at the statue and winks, and the statue winks back, I fucking lost my shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tardy to the Party, aka T3P, where us two hooligans talk shop about the holy trinity of pop culture, Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. I'm your boy Jsib, and joined by, as always,
I'm KP.
Today, we beg to ask the question, what if? What if Season 2 finally, well, not finally, it is over now. All 9 episodes are out. I was not too high on the first season. I don't know about you, KP. I don't know what you're. I personally thought it was kind of,
I mean, it's it's entertaining.
I'm much higher on this season, second season. I think there was only 2 episodes this season where I was kind of like, not my favorite, but other than that, I was pretty interested. All of them. I thought it finished pretty strong with the.
So, yeah, the first season, I don't know, like, to me, both seasons have kind of been the same. They're entertaining. The first season, a lot of it is boring, but it does finish really strong.
I would agree.
And to me, the second season, I'll say that I was kind of bored with the first half of it, but then I thought it also finished strong with the last, like, 3 or 4 episodes. Yeah.
I think for me, the 2 I didn't like was 3 and 4. I couldn't get into those. I liked 1 and 2.
See, I didn't really care for the very first. Yeah, Happy Hogan, third one, the holiday one.
Yeah, Happy Safe. What if the other one was what if Tony Stark?
The grand. See, I thought that one. See, I
There's
thought
things
that
I
one was...
liked about it, but
I thought that one was great, but that one to me was great just because of Jeff Goldblum.
That was the only. Yes, I agree.
And
when he was in it, I was like, okay, but other than that, I felt like it was kind of.
Yeah. I did not like like I texted you, I did not like the first episode. I was kind of like, yeah, this ain't it. This is boring to me. I don't care. And then the second one was kind of better. And then the third one, I was like, well, this is funny. Fourth one, this is funny. It wasn't until about episode 5 that I thought this season kind of picked up.
I would agree.
I really enjoyed the episode with Hela. I really enjoyed that one.
Same. That episode actually is what made me go back and rewatch the first Thor and the second one. I was like, let's go see if I actually.
So to touch on that, what about that episode got you to go back and rewatch those 2 movies? Because those aren't even the 2 Thors that she's in the third one. So
the reason it made me go back and rewatch the first Thor was because it's basically the first Thor movie, but it's with Hela instead of Thor. She gets her helmet taken from her, and she basically has to find a way to be worthy of it again. Just like Thor got his hammer stripped from him and he had to be
right.
So I was like, all right, it's been a minute. I'll go back and watch Thor. First comic book movie I ever fell asleep in during the theaters. Also fell asleep in the second one during the theaters. Thor's the only character holding that title for me. But I went back and rewatched the first Thor, and I actually liked it. I was like, okay, maybe it was just a bad night for me, and I was just maybe really sleepy. I mean, back then they were like midnight premieres. It wasn't the 7 o'clock early day. Like, you actually had to go at midnight.
Right.
So maybe I was just sleepy that night and
back
just
in
didn't
my
make
day.
it through. Yeah, back in my day.
Back in my day, we went to the theater at midnight on a Thursday, and it was awesome.
as a high schooler.
It
We didn't care
was
about
awesome.
no
I really wish.
curfew.
Yeah, it was awesome. Fuck, our society's weak as shit anymore. God, have Thursday early release at 1 in the afternoon. Who's going to see that? No wonder your industry sucks and is losing money. Thursday at 1 o'clock when all your kids are in school. Good, yeah, good strategy.
But yeah, I did change my mind on the
anyways.
first Thor movie. I used to bag on it, but now I actually think it's a good movie. Dark World still sucks though. That still stayed true.
Yeah, Dark World sucks. I mean, it's like the first what, 6? Yeah, 6 movies. First 6 movies of the MCU, like Iron Man's really good, and then you got some. I personally don't think the Edward Norton Hulk movie is actually that bad. I mean, yeah, it's tacky, but I don't think it's that bad. Plus, I still think that as far as the MCU goes, that's been the best. Like, that Hulk was actually cool, and then like the Hulk we end up getting with Ruffalo is like so, I don't know, comic booky, campy, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like not as intimidating, but those outside of Iron Man and the first Avengers, outside of those, the other 4 are pretty like, they're entertaining, good, like decent movies. They're nothing like the next set of, where the MCU finally started to really pick up. Silence my phone here. Other than, like you said, other than like Dark World and Age of Ultron, which are the 2 biggest shitters in the MCU in my opinion. But fuck yeah, I hate Age of Ultron.
Anyway,
I do. Like, that was one that like caught up in the hype when saw it in theater and just like, oh, it's awesome. And then the rewatchability of it is like, this movie sucks. Like, every single line is a one-liner joke. There's no actual like fucking actual script of dialogue development, it seems. But anyways, getting off topic in my rant. As far as this season though goes, like, I know I was just curious, is like, because when you said that, I was like, well, what the hell would make you watch those 2 when this is about Hela and she's in the third one? And I love Cate Blanchett and how they have Hela done. I mean, even in this last episode that aired today, when a version of her shows up, I just love the way that they kind of did her character. And it's one of my more favorites.
I agree. I was actually pretty surprised by how much I liked that episode.
Yeah, probably because, Hela, like, they actually, like, Cate Blanchett actually gives her a great personality, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it's one of very, it's a villain that the MCU actually helped you kind of understand better. But anyways.
I would agree. And I like how they had her appear in the last episode, too, when it was kind of like the flip with the zombies when their eyes, like, turned green. It was callback to Ragnarok when she was in that...
Right.
Crater thing with the dog, and then she raises the dead, and they all have the green eyes too. Dead. I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of key.
Now, what was your thoughts on this new character? And I don't even know if she's really like new, like
Gory?
As in, yeah. I don't know if that's like.
I think she's an MCU original.
Okay.
I think,
okay, that's what I was thinking too.
I like her as a character, but I have a problem with the MCU making characters because I feel like they don't know how to make a character that isn't overpowered.
I'm gonna say, like, yeah, that's what I thought was funny about this character is like, I'm sitting here, we didn't really put a disclaimer on if we're getting into spoilers or not. I would say we're basically are at this point. We've kind of spoiled some things, especially about the episode with Hela. But I would say, do we want to just go right into it, or?
Yeah, just go right in. Why not?
So yeah, so to go right into it with what Jay is saying, everyone, he's right that I don't think the powers that be over at the MCU actually know how to like make a character that's not just freaking overpowered. And the funny thing about it too is the backstory of this character is that she basically gets her powers from just the Space Stone. But you watch this last episode they made, and she's like all powerful, which I get it. Like her powers came from an Infinity Stone, and we're supposed to believe how the Infinity Stones are these universe-changing weapons. But the funny part about that is that they're fighting Supreme Strange, who doesn't have who only has a time stone on him, but he's not even using it, and his magic is so strong that it can clash with the best of the Infinity Stones. And that's like my other problem with this last episode is Captain Carter has all the Infinity Stones. She never once in the episode or in the fight, not once did she use the Soul Stone or the Mind Stone. And I understand, like, maybe she doesn't understand how they work, but I don't know that you can
chalked it up to, because they showed it that she was trying to learn.
You can't make that argument from me when she immediately puts on this Infinity armor and immediately is like, "Yep, Power Stone blasts." Like, okay, if you can immediately know how to use the Power Stone, then you know how to use the other ones too. In my book, I just was kind of watching the fight, and I'm like, especially when they do the Infinity War scene all over again. They rehashed that where he makes all the copies of himself. She doesn't use the Soul Stone like Thanos. No, instead she uses the Reality Stone to make copies of herself, and then they just all get in a brawl.
I think my main problem with the finale is, and you're kind of alluding to it, they kind of make Peggy Carter an idiot. Because even even in the beginning, when she's like gonna go through the portal, just like, why are you going through that fucking portal? Like, without even knowing who you're searching for, you're following the whole, oh, you'll know who it is when you see him. And it's just like, why are you... Like, I get you guys have this weird connection because you all lost your loved ones and whatever, but you can't be that stupid or ignorant. Like, I don't believe Peggy would be that ignorant either. And I feel like that's part of the problem. Right. But I was like, whatever, but I agree. To me, the only reason I chalked it up to that is because I felt like they tried to at least make an effort in the fight, that she didn't completely know how to use the Power Stones and was like kind of learning on the fly as she was going. But I mean, I do agree. I agree with you though. Like,
yeah, that's where I will say. I guess I can't sit here and bitch too much, but it still just rubbed me the wrong way that like she did it not once did she use the Mind Stone or the Soul Stone, and it's like, dude, use the Soul Stone. It's the best one because it has a pocket dimension where you can trap people. like, oh my god! And I feel like the MCU was just too afraid to ever get into that, but they have no problem getting to all this other shit. So
I'm also like, the more I thought about it, the more I hate that they made Supreme Strange like the villain. Because it was like,
I wasn't surprised.
At first,
I didn't hate it, but I wasn't surprised either. I just kind of felt like, well, you know, like they rehash his whole story and say like he lost his soul and all this, and I'm like, yeah.
But that's the problem, though. That's kind of the problem. Is it's a repeat, pretty much. He basically had to relearn the lesson that he learned last season.
They sort of salvage it because it's like the souls of the creatures that he has inside him were basically like taking over in their emotion and their grief, I guess. So like, I mean, like they tried to. I feel like it was kind of weak. Oh yeah, but I mean, they tried. I don't know.
They tried.
I don't know.
They at least put an effort into
it. and then the other part of the infight too is like Hela throws the crown, and Thor throws his hammer. One of the Wingwoos throws the 10 rings, and I'll say, I mean, the Kaori was cool using the 10 rings and a floating Mjolnir, since she's like, I was like, well, that's pretty fucking cool. Like, you know, like, you know, then Carter just wearing Hela's helmet to help her wield a bunch of swords that someone else threw down. I was like, okay, I get it. Like, yeah, she's, you know,
I saw an image on Twitter X gonna give it to you. That was like the picture for the season finale of What If, and it was Batman with like the Infinity Gauntlet, a lightsaber, some other bullshit, and I looked at it, and it was before I watched the episode, and I was like, what the
so
fuck?
then at the end,
And then when that all happened, I was like, there it is. There it is. But yeah, overall, I mean, yeah. In a weird way, I liked the finale, but I definitely have issues.
I liked it.
I have issues.
I liked it, but I just was, as I'm watching, I'm like, okay, this is a little much, and it's like Strange is this powerful with his magic to stand up to like these weapons that have sold us on being just these ultimate, weapons from freaking
all throughout the multiverse.
Nidavellir that get made at Nidavellir, and it's like Thor just no, you would go insane even trying to wield them, and it's like these ultimate cosmic weapons that still can't kill a sorcerer. I don't know, but then again, he has ancient demon magic within him, so what? I don't know, whatever. It was
Supreme
good.
Strange.
Yeah, it was very good and entertaining, but I just have my own kind of gripes with it, just because I'm like, well, Jesus. So yeah, man. I mean, I just did not care though for the first episode or the third one. The third one was okay. I really liked the. I think the reason that I really liked the Captain Carter fighting the Hydra Stomper Steve is because that was like the what if scenario of Peggy for like the Winter Soldier movie and the Black Widow movie. Like it's essentially, and then they even do that with, like you said, like with the like with Hela finding the 10 rings. That's essentially like the first Thor being redone with Hela, and it's the first Thor and then Shang-Chi's like those two movies being combined to this what if story. So that's kind of why I really liked those two, because it's like, well, if you've watched all the movies, you kind of already know what this is manipulating here. So even though I'm looking at, I will admit I'm on IMDb right now to kind of remember which episode was which, because since I binged the 7 of them, I kind of like, it's foggy. Of which one was which, but that's why I particularly liked those two. I really liked the one with Hela just because it was, the typical like villain that goes through a redemption arc.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it worked in multiple ways. Kind of like I said, they're kind of rewriting the first Thor, but with Hela. But then, yeah, it kind of gives us a story that redeems a version of Hela, where she can become not necessarily a hero, but more of somebody who actually does her role as the goddess of death the more honorable, correct way. How she was intended.
Did you enjoy the 1602 episode? I really did. I thought that one was wildly entertaining. Especially, I think Paul Rudd's character, Paul Rudd, the Ant-Man, I think he saves that episode with his great comedy.
He does. He was great in that episode.
Yeah, he was great in that episode.
And I think that's probably why maybe
I also like
part of the reason why
that episode too.
See, but I think that's why I ultimately don't or can't get into the Stark, or at least the Stark episode, is the voice actor does a good job of trying to mimic RDJ's Iron Man, but it's just but it's just not quite.
Well, yeah.
And I think that's kind of the saving grace of the season sometimes, and what I do appreciate is they do get a lot of the original, at least live action actors to come voice these characters again. Well, and that's why I think Paul Rudd, to your credit, saves that episode. And I don't think if anybody else was doing that role, I would feel the same.
Well, I was looking at it. The only people that don't come back to reprise their characters are RDJ, Chris Evans, and ScarJo. all the other people come back and like Hemsworth, obviously, like, excuse me. I just think that that's just kind of, I mean, that's on par because not really ScarJo, but the two RDJ and Chris Evans, you know, they wanted to be done with the MCU a long time ago, but they were on those contracts and were like, well, I'm not gonna not take this money, so
but
because what I was listening to, I was but anyways, you're right. Like, yeah, like the voice actors they get to replace them they do their best to mimic the voice of the original actress. But yeah, you can still tell, and it's kind of like it doesn't it's not like it ruins it, but it's just not
sometimes you feel like you're getting a knockoff version.
Yeah.
But I did really like the 1602 episode. I am a sucker for any time superheroes get displaced in a different time period, especially when it's like medieval Shakespeare.
And that one was just so good. Like, dude, when she says, like, when Peggy says to Thor, like, you're more dramatic than your Shakespearean brother, and he just bless. Lost. That moment, and then in the fourth episode, dude, when he's on the racetrack and he just looks at himself at the statue and winks, and the statue winks back, I fucking lost my shit. Like, I was like, oh man, those were the two laugh out loud moments for me in this season that I was just dying laughing. But yeah, no, the 1602 one. Oh man, so good. I loved how Chris Evans and like Paul Rudd, Bucky, and Captain America are basically Robin Hood and his merry men. Yep. I loved that, and I loved how Hogan was essentially just this British asshole, and like
Nick Fury, of course, plays both sides. Love to see it.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Wanda was Wanda Merlin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff with that. Oh, get out of here. Anyway, what overall did you think of, like we touched on a little bit, but of Kahori's episode? Basically, what I think is kind of the new Green Lantern Corps for the MCU.
Huh, didn't think of it that way. I mean, it was really cool how like they did it. And I always love anytime they dip into history.
Same.
Because it's a I don't know if they were technically in North or Central America. I'm assuming Central America because it was the Spanish that ends up attacking them. And then I think at the end of the episode, that's maybe supposed to be Christopher Columbus, but I don't know for certain what they were going for. But
I did like the nod to they were searching for the Fountain of Youth. Like I was like, yep, there they are.
Yeah. So I did like that episode. But I mean, I think up to that point I was fine with it, and I thought it was a really cool original character. It's just like you said, like then you watch the season finale and you're just like, oh, so she's like Captain Marvel, like, but even better because she can put people through portals and stuff.
Pretty broken as a character, but like,
right, like she literally.
I mean, we watched Secret Invasion. We know what they created there. Another, like, it's just when they go to create one, they're like, let's give them all the powers.
Right, yeah. Let's let them be able to do literally anything you can think of.
That way, we can never write ourselves in a corner.
I guess so. But no, that episode on its own I thought was really cool. Just because like, she jumps in and goes through this portal, and then she gains these powers from basically being in this alternate dimension from the space stone, learns how to use said powers, and then she gets her hero moment of like, well, I'm gonna go through this portal and go back and save my people, and then she kind of talks the others into like basically says like, well, you people are like basically cowards, and like you can come back with me, and yeah, I don't know, I enjoyed that one. I thought it was
Yeah,
pretty good.
I like I like her as a character for sure. That's just my couldn't help but gripe about that a little bit, but she's just really cool. It'd be I'm looking forward to maybe seeing a live action. I don't know how they'll
You know,
necessarily do that, but it is the multiverse saga, so she could get pulled over somehow.
I mean, why not? They can do whatever they want, because of the multiverse saga. I will say, I would love to see a live action like Guardians of the Multiverse in some way. Maybe now that Supreme Strange and Killmonger are kind of gone, maybe not especially them, but I would like to. I don't know. I think it would be cool if like. I think it would be cool if like whatever the multiversal threat is in Secret Wars is like you have your 616 heroes trying to do what they can, and then maybe the team getting back together slash hero saves the day moment is the Watcher just insert Guardians of Multiverse, and then all the 616 heroes are like, oh, Peggy Carter as the captain. Oh, look, it's Natasha. She's back, but it's like a weird, different Natasha that's got like all of our weapons,
Mm.
and a Thor that's a spoiled brat that never had a brother. It was an only child, and you'd guess you'd have to kind of recast Star Lord there because he's dead. But I don't know. Or maybe instead of that Star Lord, like you have like that good version of Thanos that would really make the 616 heroes be like, whoa, what? And like, kind of thrown off because here's a good guy Thanos that's like relatable. Um,
It'd be
I
interesting.
don't know.
I don't know if they'd have the balls to do it,
I
but
don't think they'd actually ever
they
do it.
they somewhat kind of maybe teased it at the very end of the finale because they panned to the
The
Loki's tree
Lo-
of Ysidril,
I
new
was gonna say
timeline tree.
the Loki the Locrusil or whatever. I was
The
trying to think of a
Locrusil.
I was trying to think of a cute title for it. Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, that's just like a little Easter egg there because the Watcher says to Peggy like, "Why don't we just?" She says like, "Why don't we take a scenic route?" And he's like, "Yeah, just watch." And it shows the tree, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, it's an Easter egg for the Avengers movies to come." Which, oh man, dude, what's gonna what? I really wonder what's gonna happen with it, but
It'll be interesting. I mean,
kind
it
of seems
seems like
like maybe
they're
it's
for sure
it kind of
done with Kang and moving on. It doesn't even seem like they're going to recast.
Yeah, I was gonna say it kind of seems like all that theory rumor that got leaked about how they're just gonna change direction and just go ahead and from the jump make Doctor Doom the villain. It kind of seems like maybe that's probably what they're gonna do since there's nothing coming out about how they're gonna recast Kang.
They even come out and said, I think that Avengers 5 is no longer going to be called Kang Dynasty. I think right now it's just loosely called.
It's loosely called Avengers 5.
Yeah, and I think the rumors are that they're going to end up making Secret War broken up into two parts. So maybe Avengers
Yep.
5 will be part one. They haven't, Marvel hasn't come out, or MCU, Marvel Studios, sorry, hasn't come out and said that, but they have come out and said that Kang
Yeah.
Dynasty is now Avengers 5. So at least know
I
that's
really
pivoted
wish they
away.
would I really wish they would recast him instead of doing with instead of doing what they're kind of known to do, which is what you alluded to last night with when you made the jest about like how they have these end credit scenes that never even amount to anything, you know, or that end up it ends up getting dropped.
Yep.
I have a feeling that's what they're gonna do. It's like you're gonna watch Quantumania and be like, "Well, there's all those Kangs." It's like, yeah, nothing ever happens with that.
Yep.
They all die off screen. Like that universe, their own universe's heroes take care of him. You know, I
TVA
just
takes care of it.
right, yeah. The TVA takes care of it. That's probably what's gonna end up happening. Is the TVA took care of all of them, but then
That's what it kind of seems like at the end of
Doctor Doom,
season
and
2.
then Doctor Doom is gonna end up being this guy that's just so smart that he's smarter than all of them, and you know he's gonna actually be the problem. I could see that, but
It would make sense with it also being Secret Wars, and if they brought Victor Von Doom into the fray. So I'm looking forward to it. Just don't rush him. Don't rush Victor Von Doom. He's already had 2 stinkers of movies come out, so at least let him shine this time. Clean him up nice. Ding. Don't make him the next Kang.
Two? You mean 3? Or did you actually enjoy Rise of Silver Surfer?
Oh no, I'm saying he's already been in 2 bad movies. Don't make it a third.
Yeah, but he's been in 3 bad movies.
Well, it's the same adaptation though. One of them's the same. Not a different actor.
Okay.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, he is in 2
That's
of
what you're
the
saying.
movies, but yeah, he's the. We've had 2 Doctor Doom iterations. They've both been shit. Give us a good one. But yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to touch on What If, or?
No, I just kind of agree with you, man. I hope we would at least get a live action of this Kahori, but who knows?
We shall see.
It does look like I don't know if they announced it or what, but did they announce like that they're gonna do a season 3 of What If, or?
Yeah, and they actually dropped a teaser too.
Oh, they did.
Like a 3-minute teaser. I think it features Winter Soldier and Red Guardian, the younger Red Guardian.
See, and I was actually kind of surprised they didn't incorporate him in some way in this second season.
Yep. Well, it looks like, since I would imagine. See, the Tony Stark episode for this season was actually a cut episode from last season because it wasn't finished.
Right.
I have a feeling
it was supposed to really give you the background to that Gamora that's a guardian of the multiverse.
And I have a feeling that the Winter Soldier and Red Guardian episode next season is probably the same thing that happened with Tony Stark episode. Probably just wasn't finished in time. So they probably why they already have like a 3 or 4 minute like teaser for it, because it seems like it's mostly probably done, but it's probably not just quite done. So they just threw it to season 3. But
yeah,
looking forward to the next season. I don't know if we're doing a rating on the. I guess I'll give it a 6.5. Maybe a 7. I'll give it a 7.
I'll give the season a 7. I mean, it's like I said, it finishes very strong. So,
but
and I didn't hate the first like 4. It's just one of them I just don't care for at all, and that was the very first episode. But then the others are kind of just funny. I mean, yeah, they're not that like they're kind of boring. I was but what were you gonna say?
Oh no, you go ahead.
Oh, I thought for a minute, like Korg was gonna be in every episode for some reason, but yeah.
I actually didn't mind Korg when he's like in just little bits. It's nice when you get little sprinkles of him. When he's around too much, it's too much.
Right.
But yeah, if you like this review, please give us a like, subscribe. You also should probably, if it's not up yet, it should be in the next day or 2. We also have reviews for Rebel Moon Part 1 and Aquaman 2 that are fresh off the presses. But KP, where can the people find you?
You can find me at any social at Politesk. Last name with my K at the end.
And you can find me on Twitter, aka X gon' give it to ya, and also on Twitch at Jsib20. Me and this hooligan usually go live on Tuesdays, Thursdays. Sometimes we game together. Sometimes we. Important thing is we always join together to do these fun reviews. Appreciate you guys so much that tune in and watch. So until next time, I'm your boy Jason.
And I'm KP.
See ya later.
Yeah.